What if the one power that can save a life is the same power that could destroy everything Claire loves? The trailer for Outlander Season 8 Episode 4, titled Muskets, Liberty, and Sauerkraut, quietly sets up something far more dangerous than just another battle. This isn't only about war anymore. It's about control, fate, and a mystery that even Claire herself doesn't fully understand. And the moment you realize what's really happening, you start to question if saving Jamie is even possible at all. The biggest shock comes from Claire's growing connection to the blue light. We've seen hints of it before, but now it feels real and unpredictable. She didn't just remember it, she felt it again. That same overwhelming force that once saved her life when she was on the edge of death. But here's the problem. She doesn't control it. It appears when her emotions spiral, when pain takes over, when she's pushed too far. And that makes it dangerous. Because in a world where timing is everything, a power like this can fail at the one moment it matters most. And that brings us to Jamie. The shadow hanging over him is getting darker with every episode. The idea that he could die in the coming battle is no longer just a theory. It feels like an unavoidable path. The tension here isn't just about whether Claire can save him, it's about whether she'll even be there when it happens. Because if she's not close enough, if that emotional trigger doesn't hit at the right second, then the blue light becomes useless. And that's what makes this so painful. Claire might have the power to save him, but still lose him anyway. At the same time, the Ridge is turning into a ticking time bomb. Different forces are rising, and none of them trust each other. Charles Cunningham is no longer hiding behind charm. There's something colder in him now, something more calculated. His presence feels like a threat even when he's calm. And when he approaches Claire, asking if she's alone, the tension instantly shifts. It's no longer about politics or loyalty. It becomes personal. You can feel that something is about to go very wrong. On the other side, Cleveland is just as dangerous, but in a completely different way. He doesn't hide what he is. His actions are violent, direct, and brutal. While Cunningham manipulates, Cleveland destroys. And Jamie is stuck between these two forces, both pulling him in different directions. Neither option feels right, and yet doing nothing might be even worse. This is where the real conflict begins. Not just the war outside, but the war inside Jamie himself. And now a third militia is forming. That changes everything. Because this isn't just a battle anymore, it's chaos waiting to explode. 3 sides, 3 leaders, and no clear line between ally and enemy. The Ridge is no longer safe. It's becoming a battlefield where one wrong move could cost everything. And for the first time, Jamie realizes he might not be ready for what's coming. The question is no longer if something will happen, it's when. If the Ridge is already on the edge of chaos, then Episode 4 is where everything finally starts to break. The power struggle is no longer hidden. It's out in the open, and every move now feels like the beginning of a war that cannot be stopped. Jamie is caught in the middle of something far bigger than himself, and for the first time, it feels like he doesn't have control over the outcome. Both sides want him, but not for who he is. They want his name, his influence, his strength. And that puts him in a position where any decision he makes could turn him into a target. Charles Cunningham is becoming more dangerous with every moment. Before, he played the role of a charming loyalist, someone who could talk his way into trust. But now, that mask is slipping. There's a shift in his behavior that's hard to ignore. The calm tone, the controlled expressions, they don't hide the threat anymore. They amplify it. When he approaches Claire, the tension is immediate. It's not just a conversation. It feels like a test, a question that carries weight behind it. And Claire knows it. She can sense that something is off, but she also knows she cannot show fear. Because the moment she does, she gives him power. At the same time, Cleveland represents a completely different kind of danger. He doesn't pretend. He doesn't manipulate. He acts. His methods are brutal, and his intentions are clear. He believes in force, in fear, in making an example out of anyone who stands in his way. And that's exactly why Jamie cannot trust him. Even if Cleveland claims to be on the right side, his actions say otherwise. Aligning with him would mean becoming part of that violence. And Jamie is not ready to cross that line. But here's where things become even more complicated. According to what Frank once wrote, Jamie is supposed to fight alongside Cleveland. That detail changes everything. Because if the past has already been written, then why does it feel like Jamie is moving in the opposite direction? This raises a dangerous possibility that history is no longer fixed. That Claire's presence, her choices, her very existence in this time is slowly changing the outcome. And if history can change, then so can fate. Back at the Ridge, the situation is getting worse. The idea of forming a third militia is no longer just talk. It's becoming reality. Roger's words confirm it. Jamie is preparing. Not because he wants war, but because he knows he has no other choice. For a long time, he resisted the idea of bringing more weapons into their home. He wanted peace, stability. But now, that illusion is gone. The Ridge is no longer a place of safety. It's a place that needs to defend itself. Brianna and Roger already saw this coming. Their decision to secure guns earlier wasn't just caution, it was foresight. And now Jamie is forced to accept that they were right. Being unprepared in a moment like this isn't bravery. It's a risk he cannot afford to take anymore. Because the moment conflict begins, there will be no time to think, only time to react. And with 3 different forces rising at once, there's no clear enemy anymore. Lines are blurred. Loyalties are uncertain. Anyone could turn against anyone. This is no longer a simple fight between 2 sides. It's something much messier, something far more dangerous. Because when chaos takes over, it doesn't choose sides. It consumes everything. And while war is building outside, something even more complicated is growing in William's heart. His world hasn't just been shaken, it's been completely turned upside down. Losing Ben already pushed him into a dark place, but now, with Amaranthus getting closer to him, his emotions are becoming harder to ignore. At first, it was simple. She was someone he needed to protect, someone connected to his past. But now, it's not that simple anymore. In Outlander Season 8, Episode 4, we begin to see a shift in William that feels both natural and dangerous at the same time. Because the more he tries to understand Amaranthus, the more he starts to feel something deeper. And that's where the conflict begins. Not outside, but inside him. He's still struggling with the truth about his father. That pain hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, it's getting worse. Because every new discovery forces him to question everything he believed before. And now, there's another possibility that could change everything again. Ben might not be who he thought he was. The idea that Benjamin could have faked his own death and switched sides in the war isn't just shocking, it's personal. It reshapes the way William sees loyalty, family, and even himself. And if that turns out to be true, then what does that mean for Amaranthus? Because her presence in his life is no longer just about responsibility. That moment, the kiss, changed everything. It caught him off guard, and his reaction said it all. Confusion, hesitation, but also something else. Something he doesn't want to admit yet. Because admitting it would mean moving on. It would mean letting go of the past, of Rachel, of Jane, of everything that once defined his emotional world. And William isn't ready for that. So what does he do? He pulls back. He avoids. He creates distance, hoping it will make things easier. But it won't. Because feelings like this don't disappear, they grow stronger in silence. And the more he tries to ignore it, the more it builds inside him. At the same time, he doesn't have anyone he truly trusts to talk to. He needs guidance, someone who understands him. Someone like Lord John. But even that feels uncertain. Because opening up means facing the truth. And right now, William is doing everything he can to avoid it. So while Jamie is preparing for war, and Claire is struggling with a power she cannot control, William is fighting his own battle. One that no one else can see. And that's what makes Episode 4 so intense. Every storyline is moving towards something bigger. The blue light remains unpredictable. The militias are getting closer to collision. And emotions, whether it's fear, love, or anger, are starting to take over. Nothing feels stable anymore. And the most dangerous part? This is only the beginning.